I'm going to be here today sharing with you on one of my point one clients, Mon, who is a multiple six-figure coach. But I want to share with you on how she started with us and the journey she had through this whole process, and more importantly, some lessons that you can take away from this very short interview so you can grow your coaching business as well. Hey, Mon, appreciate your time. Super appreciate you.
Thanks for asking.
Cool. So you've been in P1 for, I believe it's almost 2 years. Like I think it's about 22 months now.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, your case is very unique because most coaches who come to us are on zero or 10K, 20K, 30K, max 50K, and then they scale to that next level. But you're already on six figures, which is
Mm-hmm.
weird for, on the outside, it seems weird that someone already on six figures would join a program to help them get to six figures.
Sure. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing what made you jump in at that point?
Yeah, sure. So, yep, you're right. I had already made my six figures. And part of it was that I was doing things differently in my industry, and no one was doing it the way I was doing it. And that was what I liked about point one, and what I liked about accessing people outside of my industry to really create something different and bring it in. And because I'd met you physically in another training program, and you'd come in to talk about that, and that was really at the beginning of your journey. I saw how well you were doing, and that, you see a lot of people online that are making bold claims and are having exceptional journeys. And I knew you when you started. And so I was like, I even had people message me in New Zealand, because you're in Australia, I'm in New Zealand. I had people message me privately and say, hey, I see that you, comment on Richmond's posts or follow him or friends with him or whatever. Is he the real deal? That's the thing, is that for me it was that, you were the real deal, you are the real deal. So it was really great to see your journey, and you were a step ahead of me, right? So why not follow someone who's a step ahead of me? So that was why I jumped in. I got incredibly tired doing what I was doing. It was I was one of those lone wolf characters that I can do it all on my own. And I got to a point where I realized that, yeah, sure, I can do it all on my own, but it's much harder. And why do I need to do it all on my own? I don't. So that was my thing.
Very cool. Appreciate the compliment to you. I believe you attract who you are. You're as real as they come, Mon. Like, I mean that sincerely. Your laugh, you're infectious, you're awesome. And so, on that note, then, I guess what's been the biggest lesson for you going through this whole journey? Because it's been a lot of ups and downs, and I know one of the first things we worked on was your offer as well. So, yeah, some of the lessons that maybe a person watching this could say, you know what, I'm not on six figures, but how can I apply it to me when I'm just starting out?
That's a great question. I would say, I think one of the challenges of coming into point one is that there's a huge amount of value in content, right? And I starting out, like, even when I was already on my way, but starting out, it was still quite overwhelming. And I think just pick one thing and work on that well, and get that going, and then pick the next thing, kind of thing. It's I think it's very easy to, because there's so much value in there, and of course the model's changed a lot since when I started to now, where there's so much more structure, which is great. Like training, and that's, I think, where point one stands out, in that there's a load of training in there, and it's not just business training. It's not about how to build your business. It's coaching training. And I think that's, I know you and Tony are very driven around raising the standard of the coaching industry. And I think that's, really, really important. So pick what area it is that is you're going to get the most gain from. And if it's that you're a new coach, concentrate on how to coach. And once you've got that going better, then concentrate on lead gen, then concentrate on that. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Agree.
yeah,
In case you guys don't know, Mon coaches accountants and bookkeepers, right? And a lot of her business has been on her being really good at what she does. And how do we know? She gets referrals and re-signs. That's majority of her business. And so I love what you said about what makes us different is we focus on making sure that our coaches are actually good at what they do, because most other programs just teach you how to become a great marketer, become a great salesperson, but then they lack in actual creating the result and skill set. How have you improved as a coach? I guess that's what I really wanted to ask. Since you started your coaching skill set 2 years ago to where it is now.
Yeah, that's another great question. Definitely, even though I was doing the NLP training before I came into Point One, and I'd done NLP training must be now about 15 years ago, I never really got how powerful it was. And now, because of the repetition and the layering of the skills in the program and in the delivery and in our one-day events, all those sorts of things, is that it's really made me understand how I can add that into my coaching. So, I've like a lot of coaches, especially who've been coaching for a while, I've got a Mary Poppins bag of tools, right? And it's really understanding and being comfortable with what tool for what problem. And I think that we're so focused on solution as coaches, or can be, and especially if we're building a business, we're so focused on I've got this solution. And really, I think being a great coach is really understanding the problem. And that, I think, is something that we learn or are exposed to more and more in training in Point One. So I think, to come back to answering the question, I think I've gotten better at diagnosing the problem and drawing out the pain so that I really get to the root cause problem. So being very comfortable in this might be the problem that they think they have or that they've come to me for, and I could serve them very quickly by solving that. However, that would be a disservice because that's not the real problem. So having the confidence and the skills and the understanding that to really serve them, then we need to sit in the inquiry and dig a little deeper. Yeah.
That's huge. Guys, if you're watching this, I want you to take note of, if you're a new coach or even if you're existing, let's just say you're coaching someone on a 1 hour session, like how much time should you spend building rapport? How much time do you spend diagnosing the problem? Then how much should you spend solving the problem? I believe most coaches get it wrong because they don't spend enough time trying to figure out the problem, exactly what you said there. And it brings me back to my optometry days. I used to be an optometrist 10 years. When someone had a significant eye symptom or problem and you suspected it was serious, you could easily spend an hour with that patient and 55 minutes is diagnosing the problem, 5 minutes is the solution. It was always like that. But I've never actually linked those two to coaching like the way you said it there. So I love that. And it really is, once you spend 55 minutes diagnosing the problem, the solution is actually really simple. It's either have this type of surgery or have this treatment or have this drop or have this thing, but that's really actually easy after spending 55 minutes. So appreciate you bringing that up. Let's do one last thing, Mon. So you are connected to a ton of our students inside Point One and even in PTP. and you see a lot of newbies going through, starting their journey, what would be a piece of advice you could give them that would really serve them to help them take it to that next level?
That's a great question. What would be a piece of advice? Actually, I think what would be a really great thing, apart from focus on one thing, is what has been really helpful for me in my journey as well, especially as Point One has grown. So, in member size and things like that and of course the team's grown with it. So that's all good. But as that growth has happened and we've got different levels within Point One as well, I think it's really helpful to have your own mastermind outside of Point One. I mean, they might be Point One members, right? But have your own mastermind, weekly mastermind, where you don't take any shit. You get in there, you come with your challenge, and you can lay it on the table, and then you're out. Because I think that just adds so much value to your business, and also creates stronger bonds with people in Point One, and because there's so much, it's not just the Point One team, right? There's some incredible collective intelligence in the coaching group, and so whoever you bond with, whoever you think might be in a similar space or whatever, I would really encourage independent mastermind, and as in not just a week, is what I mean. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Mon, awkward question then. For the people watching this, they're probably going to see your profile tagged on this video. They're going to be like, oh, how do I get in her little circle? Is there room for one more in your little circle?
Oh, well, I just have to reach out, won't I?
You have to apply. There's a fee and there's a waiting list, and you have to apply to get in Mon's little circle. I think it might be a great opportunity to wrap it up there. Guys, if this was valuable, type in valuable, and remember, keep believing and never settle.